Reddit stock has been on quite the ride over the past month. After climbing to an all-time high above $240 just last week, it's now cooled off, closing Thursday at $218.65. The move was rather flat on the day, but it reflects a broader cooling that we've been seeing across the AI sector and the stock market more generally. So what's going on here? Is Reddit's rally losing steam, or is this just a breather before the next leg higher? Let's unpack it. First off, the pullback isn't unique to Reddit. Across the tech landscape, AI stocks have been taking a step back. The Nasdaq itself has been under pressure, dropping more than 2% over the past couple of sessions as investors reassess valuations. We've had some sobering headlines that have cooled enthusiasm. OpenAI CEO himself recently warned about the possibility of an AI bubble. And a study out of MIT pointed out that 95% of companies implementing generative AI have yet to see meaningful returns on their investments. That's a narrative shift. For months, AI has been the golden child of the market, the theme everyone wanted exposure to. But when voices from inside the industry start to acknowledge that maybe the pace of returns isn't as immediate as investors had hoped, it forces people to rethink how quickly revenue will really ramp up for the companies feeding into that ecosystem. For Reddit, which has leaned heavily into the AI narrative over the past few quarters, that matters. Remember, part of what's fueled its run from under $100 earlier this year to the 240s has been the belief that its user-generated content is a goldmine for AI training. Data licensing deals with OpenAI and Google, plus the rollout of Reddit Answers, the company's own AI-powered search feature, have given investors reasons to see it as a unique AI play. When AI sentiment cools across the board, though, stocks like Reddit inevitably get caught up in that drag, even if nothing has changed in their own fundamentals over the past week. And that's an important point. Nothing has actually changed inside Reddit itself. Its Q2 numbers remain strong. Revenue of $500 million, up 78% year over year. Net income of $89 million. Advertising revenue growing 84%, with international daily active users up 32%. And Reddit Answers surging from 1 million to 6 million weekly users. Those are solid growth figures by any standard. So why is the stock cooling off? Part of it is valuation. At a price-to-earnings ratio north of 120, Reddit is priced for perfection. That's fine when the narrative is red-hot and investors are chasing momentum, but it leaves little room for error when sentiment shifts. Even if the fundamentals haven't changed, the willingness of investors to pay such a premium can change quickly when macro conditions tighten. And that brings us to the other big factor here, Jerome Powell's Jackson Hole speech. Every year, this is one of the most closely watched events for markets. This year, it carries even more weight because of the uncertainty around where the Federal Reserve goes next with interest rates. Inflation has been sticky, consumer spending has shown signs of slowing, and earnings from retailers like Walmart and Target have been mixed. That's created an uneasy backdrop. Markets don't like uncertainty, and ahead of Powell's remarks, many investors are simply stepping aside. Evercore ISI even warned that Powell's speech could spark a 7 to 15% correction in the broader market, depending on how hawkish or dovish his comments turn out to be. That's the kind of backdrop where highly valued, momentum-driven stocks like Reddit are particularly vulnerable to selling pressure. We're also seeing a rotation into defensive sectors. Money has been flowing out of tech and into areas like energy, healthcare, and consumer staples. That doesn't necessarily mean the bull run in tech is over, but it does show that institutional investors are hedging their bets ahead of a potentially volatile macro event. So where does that leave Reddit right now? Sitting in an interesting spot. On one hand, the fundamentals remain intact. The company is profitable, growing quickly, and carving out a distinct role in the AI ecosystem. On the other, its valuation leaves it exposed in an environment where sentiment is shifting and macro uncertainty is high. From a technical standpoint, 215 looks like an important support level. If Reddit can hold that line and consolidate, it may be setting the stage for another move higher once the dust settles from Jackson Hole. If it breaks below that, you could be looking at a retest of the 210 area. For long-term investors, the story hasn't changed. Reddit still offers something unique in the AI world, real, human-generated conversations that can't be easily replicated elsewhere. That's valuable not just for licensing, but for building an AI-powered search engine that actually feels authentic. The company's advertising momentum and international growth are also strong positives. For traders, though, this is where risk management matters. If Powell delivers a hawkish surprise, or if AI sentiment continues to cool, you could see another leg down before the next leg up. On the flip side, if Powell strikes a balanced tone and the market breathes a sigh of relief, Reddit could rebound quickly and retake the 230s. So the big picture here is that Reddit stock isn't selling off because of anything wrong with Reddit itself. It's part of a broader cooling in AI enthusiasm and a cautious market ahead of a critical Fed event. This kind of pause is natural after such a massive run-up, and it could end up being healthy consolidation. The key will be how the market digests Powell's remarks and whether investor appetite for high-multiple AI stocks returns once the macro dust clears. At the end of the day, whether you see Reddit at 218 as a buying opportunity or as a warning sign depends on your time horizon. If you believe in its AI and search strategy, this might be a chance to add on a dip. If you're more focused on short-term moves, then patience may be warranted until the macro picture becomes clearer. One thing is certain, Reddit has cemented itself as a stock worth watching, and whatever Powell says at Jackson Hole could set the tone not just for Reddit, but for the entire AI sector in the weeks ahead.